looking into it, she can be more chilly.
Elevator center.
Scared of the back.
She was sitting there like this. Very pleased with herself. Worked really hard.
You guys want to call
Kind of
this?
exciting
Or
for
is
us.
it- Okay. I call the Personal
Hello, Mr. Lozio.
Human Services Committee to order at 7:01.
Let's go.
Anybody got a?
Diana is
All
first.
right, let's go.
We're ready for you. We're starting the meeting.
My committee members are Council Blair and Council Reynolds. Present people will be filling in for her. And I do have a guest tonight, so let me invite, well, let me read the motion first, and then I can invite the guest forward. I entertain a motion to confirm the appointment of Edward Perica, 9 Guston Avenue, to fill an unexpired term on the Municipal Building Commission, term to expire February 2019.
Second.
Thank you.
But just a point of order, Diana, or Councilor Holmes, sorry. I do have an interest in this, so I'm going to recuse myself from this discussion.
Financial?
It is not financial.
It's personal. Thank you. So I want to invite the guests forward.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Eddie Perica. I live at 9 Guston Avenue here in the great city of Attleboro. Thank you for having me in tonight, and I look forward to serving on the Building Commission. I was happy to be appointed by the mayor. Most recently, we had a big meeting Saturday, as you know, at the School Building Commission, which is not a council-appointed position, so I was able to attend, and some exciting things happening in the city, and hope to be able to lend my time and talents to the commission and see where the city can go from here. I can talk a little bit about, I know all of you, so I can talk a little bit about my experience. I have 30 years in the construction industry. I'm a master electrician and evening school code and theory instructor. My area of expertise in electrical construction actually comes from mid to large size industrial and commercial electrical construction, so it lends itself very well to the type of municipal building that we do here in the city. And hope to be a voice of reason and be able to help vet out some of the projects that we know we're going to have coming up. Most importantly, there's a big one, I guess, up the street on Rathburn Willard that's coming up, so I'm very excited to be part of that. And that's really all I have.
Thank you so much.
My one vote had to recuse herself, so I'm hoping to pick up some votes.
Think about that.
No, one quick thing. Thank you so much for coming in. We had a nice conversation before, and it just feels good to know that we have people on our side that are supportive and are going to be able to ask the questions and have the knowledge. So it's comforting to know that. So thanks
Well, I
again.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Eddie, I'm glad to see you on that commission. Your expertise in your field is great. I mean, we have a lot of nice people in Attleboro that volunteer for different boards, but for you on that board, bringing the expertise you have in the construction business
I appreciate that.
is you can't put a price on it, Eddie. And I know your interest in town.
Well,
I know you'll look at things in the right way and objectively.
yeah, take a perspective from the construction side of things.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and we have great people on that commission already. We have lawyers who contractually can look at things differently, and people in finance who can look at things from a financial standpoint. And now to add a construction flair to it seems to round it out pretty well. So I'm excited about that.
Since Alan Semple passed away and got off the board, I haven't really felt confident in that type of person being on the board, because it's ultimately important to know the product you're dealing with, and you bring to the board that expertise that I'm glad to see that. So
Well,
we do have some big projects
We sure
in
do.
mind, so
And if
thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm very happy to do it. And if I may, Diana, speaking, the School Building Commission is obviously separate. That's a committee put together by the mayor. What was very interesting and what I look most forward to is that of the 5 candidates that we interviewed for the School Building Commission, I had the experience and the opportunity to actually build buildings with all of those contractors at some point in my career. So it really helped me give me a unique perspective from where I sat on really how the nuts and bolts of it all go together, and be able to offer that to the group and hope to extend that to the Municipal Building Commission as well.
Great appointment. Glad
Thank
to
you.
see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Conti?
Thank you. Councilor Holmes, I met Eddie Perica for the first time in the year 2000, and it was in an industrial building that was being wired. And when I learned that he was coming on to the Building Commission, I was thrilled because there's a lot of empty seats in the Building Commission. So I'd like to use this opportunity to advertise for people that may be just like this perfect candidate for the Building Commission. And I do consider you a perfect candidate for the Building Commission.
Thank you, Richard.
If there's anyone else in the city that has been in the business, has achieved a level of success, is so capable that they're actually teaching, which is what we have here. And if they could just give their time for the first Wednesday night of every month to participate in a meeting, it usually doesn't go beyond an hour and a half. It would be deeply appreciated because there's a lot of challenging work, which is very interesting to the trades for that commission. So number one, thank you, Eddie, for volunteering. You're the perfect candidate for the Building Commission. I'd like to see 5 more just like you step forward.
Great.
And
I'm not sure if the city of Attleboro could handle 5 more, but
you may be right there. You may be right. But I was thrilled.
Thank you.
That you made the decision, and I think you made the right decision. Thank you very much.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Councilor Dolan?
So this is great. I think with your knowledge and your commitment to Attleboro, it's fantastic. I'm thrilled that you're willing to do this, and again, with your commitment to Attleboro, I know you'll always be looking out for us, and I'm really happy for you.
Well, thank you, Laura. With obviously have this commitment to the city and all my children's commitment to the city, I felt like I was
Your whole
lagging
family.
behind, so I was,
You had to step it
Yeah,
up to
step
keep
it
up
up,
with
well, yeah.
with the ladies and
so here we
your
are,
son.
stepping it up now.
No, good for you. You'll be a huge asset. Thank you.
Yeah.
Eddie, good to see you, sir. We've met once or twice. One thing that hasn't been said, and I echo everything that's been said, is your commitment, your passion, you're vested in the community, but you're not afraid to challenge the status quo. And I think that in the times we live in and everything that we have going on, I think that's going to be a very valuable asset to the board. And I think that you're the right person for that fit at the right time. So welcome aboard. And don't let us down, big boy.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't want to be left out of the accolades.
Okay, well, if you must.
So one of the things that you are very, very good at, and I appreciate that, is you're going to be able to translate some pretty sophisticated and technical concerns and just, operations so that lay people can understand that, because I've seen you do that before, and I think that's going to be really, really important for folks to understand that, because some of those things that happen, when you get into construction, or you have a certain lingo of your own, so to say. So I know that you're very eloquent about that, so I think that's going to be very helpful also.
Well, I hope I can serve as somewhat of a translator for other people on the commission, and they can do the same for me in areas where are not my strong suit. So as I had said to Peter, we have a great team up there with a vast amount of experience, whether it be how to look at a contract or how to look at a financial statement from a different perspective, or how to look at a set of blueprints from a different perspective. I'm pretty excited to work with all of them.
Great, thank you so much. Anyone else have any comments? Thanks again for coming. Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie.
So I will read the motion one more time. I entertain a motion to confirm the appointment of Edward Perica, 9 Guston Avenue, to fill an unexpired term on the Municipal Building Commission, term expire February 2019.
Second.
So the motion's in order, I think I already did that. And so, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Or opposed? Motion passes, thank you. And I just want to make a comment off of what Mr. Conti said. We have appointed so many individuals. I'm getting an updated sheet together with the mayor's office so that we can pass it out to everybody to see if there are any vacancies, or just to have a fresh list of everybody that's come through, because I feel like it's been about, I don't even know, maybe 30 individuals that we've appointed so far, so the names have changed, and it would be great to have an updated list of that. So moving forward, I entertain a motion to confirm the appointment of Sean Quigley, 93 Parker Street, to fill an unexpired term on the Cultural Council, term to expire February 2019.
Second.
Thank you. I am going to invite Mr. Quigley to come to the next committee meeting so everybody can meet this individual. But I just wanted to kind of move forward to get it out of committee. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I entertain a motion to confirm the following reappointments to the Conservation Commission for terms as indicated. Bruce Hagerman, 3-year term to expire February 2021. Rose Minicani, 3-year term to expire February 2021.
Second.
Thank you. These are just reappointments. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $10 from account 1650100520101 Parker Forestry Heating to account 1650100573010 Park and Forestry membership regarding the need funds to cover the cost of membership to the International Society of Arboriculture.
Second.
Thank you. Remember when Derek came and he said that somebody had a senior discount and he wasn't going to be able to get that anymore? That's what this is about. So it's I guess because there was a senior, they had a $10 discount, but now Derek said he can't get that, so go ahead.
I just can't help but chuckle when I saw $10. I'm like, how many years have we all been sitting here collectively, or $10? It blows my mind just to get approved by us 11 people. But hey, it's only $10.
There was a time where there was a minimal number, but it was more than 10. I've never seen lower than 10. It was like, can't we just, I think Mr. Cooper actually said, can I just give you the $20 so we can be done with it?
I think it was 12.
But it was such a complex thing for Deb Gould to have to create a donation account for that particular account that it was just easier to, if it's easier to put it in front of the municipal council, that kind of tells you how difficult it is to create that account. It's very funny.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, the motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $11,409 from account 112410005783350 citywide reserve fund labor negotiations relative to collective bargaining agreement between the City of Attleboro Public Library Employee Association Local 4928 MLSA AFT-MA AFL CIO for the period of July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2020 to the following accounts: $11,245 to account 161010005130001 Library Lump Sum Retro, $164 to account 1145100051724 Treasurer MedTechs.
Second.
Thank you. So this is just part of negotiations and to cover the bargaining that occurred. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I entertain a motion to confirm the following reappointments to the Municipal Building Commission. Jack Jacoby III, 3-year term. Term expires February 2021. Jackie Romanicki, 3-year term, expires February 2021. And Terry DeSisto, 3-year term to expire February 2021.
Second.
Thank you. These are reappointments. Any comments? I was thinking of inviting maybe maybe Jack Jacoby and Jackie Romanicki, or maybe even a couple of members to talk to us about just the process with the high school. Would anybody have any interest in that? I know it was in the paper. What are people's thoughts on that? Just to kind of, I know we read about it there, but go ahead, Councilor.
So, Council, I attend the municipal building commissions as part of my role in the capital improvements and city development. And when significant things happen, I usually bring that message to the council committee or council floor. I'm not, I mean, the municipal building commission meetings are public meetings, so anyone in the city can attend the meetings. So I don't think I see the value in dragging them into the city hall for another meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other comments?
What I will say, unrelated to bring them down, is I think when you look at Jack, Jackie, and Terry, they certainly bring a lot to the Municipal Building Commission, especially Jack Jacoby, so I was happy to see him come back. That's an awful lot of internal institutional knowledge that Jack and Jackie bring. So especially the work that Jackie does on the ARA, I think it's a good crossover. So it's good to see this caliber of talent that we have on our boards and commissions.
I agree.
Thank you. I echo Councilor Delissio's comments. I think having these three have been part of this commission since the inception of, from step one with the high school build and things like that, and where you have a couple of good appointments that are coming up after this. I think it's going to be a great balance to have people who, I mean, I haven't met anyone, I mean, Jackie and Jack Jacoby know this project inside out, upside down, frontwards, backwards, and sideways. And I think that their reappointment was critical to keep in, a continuation of the knowledge, and I'm excited about it. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I agree. I think I agree with that as well. All right. So
Continuity, that was the word.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I entertain a motion to confirm the appointment of Michael Tyler, 196 County Street, to fill an unexpired term on the Municipal Building Commission. Term to expire February 2020.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any comments? We know Mr. Tyler, he seems to also be involved. Go ahead.
He brings expertise to that board also in the construction field. In his past experience, it's going to be another plus to that board.
I agree. Any other comments? All those, go ahead, sorry.
I don't mean to belabor the point, but Mike also, he was part of the crew that built the concession stand at the high school. So, and with his municipal experience, Munis and how all of that works, I think this is also, again, another great appointment.
Okay.
Sorry, it would be remiss if we didn't add his experience on the school committee as well, which I think will prove to be invaluable, as well as his role as the superintendent of DPW.
Definitely. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I just have two more. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to extend a similar salary adjustment increase to non-union employees, which will go into effect July 1st, 2018.
Second.
Thank you. Yes.
So I know that this has to be done before the end of the fiscal year, and I'm happy to vote this out of committee tonight, but I will not vote it out of committee. In fact, I would object to it if we don't have additional supporting information to clearly define what extend a similar salary adjustment increase means.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable voting out a salary out of committee without understanding what
level.
what it means to each of the grades, what the proposed percentage is, and what it means to the budget. So I'm happy to get it out tonight. I know that it's going that way, but I
agree with what President Cooper's saying. If we could remove the second, and then can I still talk a little bit about where we are with that? Because I do have a little bit of information, but not all of it.
So do you want to talk about it while the motion's in order, and then we could withdraw?
Yes, so we did get a printout, a worksheet, printout of what the salary adjustment will look like, but I agree that we don't have the full picture yet, and I really do think that I'd like to kind of be able to present to you guys what that will mean, the fiscal impact of what that will mean to the city before we can decide to just kind of move forward with this.
Can I make a suggestion then?
Yes.
We voted out of committee this evening. Doesn't mean you have to bring it out if you don't have the proper information to bring forward to us next week or before the deadline. It would expedite it a little bit if you voted out of committee tonight, get the information we're looking for before you're the one that's gonna bring it before the full council, and it's your discretion when.
Yeah, if I may, it's completely up to you. We do have that special meeting scheduled to do any last-minute things before the fiscal year ends, although I would like to not have that meeting if we don't have to, just in the spirit of full transparency, but,
I second that.
so if you don't vote it out tonight, you could call for a committee meeting on the 19th as an option, prior to this meeting to vote it out, and then vote it before the meeting on the 19th, which is probably the thing to do, so that you can gather that information, have a committee meeting on the 19th, and then vote it before the full council on the 19th if you think that you have everything by then.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
think
take.
either way, Diane, it's.
I think so. That sounds good. I think, did everybody get the worksheet though that does have the breakout of what this will, no, okay. So I'll make sure that everybody does get that, and then I'll gather a little bit more information and hopefully have a little bit more to say of it. So that's fine. We can move
Okay.
on. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $35,000 from account 1124100578300 citywide reserve fund for transfer to account 1121100530890 mayor city solicitor, as additional funds are needed for city solicitor services for the remainder of fiscal year 18.
Second.
Thank you. This was, everybody received this earlier. It does explain, it has a breakout of exactly where that money is coming from, the services that she provided to the city. But I think that this does bring up a question that I know even Councilor Conti has brought up before. Do we want to think about possibly next year hiring somebody on, or is it more cost-effective for us to kind of continue with this path? So it's just something to consider. I don't know, because that does seem like a kind of a considerable amount of money, so. Go ahead.
So the thinking that I've had for years was that the city would benefit from having a legal service paralegal at a minimum as an employee for City Hall to vet issues as they came about. So, for example, I called the city solicitor on May 16th, and we had a 4-minute conversation about the Highland Country Club, because I needed to hear from the city solicitor what their opinion was. That opinion could have come from a paralegal and be just as valid. So it's a very small case of what I'm talking about, but there has been resistance in the past through the administration to create a city solicitor department, and it is a decision of the administration. The council can make a recommendation to the administration to establish a city solicitor position on office, but we're powerless to actually create that position for the administration. But I do agree with your thinking that across the board, the legal services provided to the and the school, water and wastewater even, has become a very large number, and that it does deserve an examination. Unfortunately, that typically involves bringing in an outside expert to make a recommendation to the city, which is more money. So as a result, the whole thing has been paralyzed in the past, and that's just a little history, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you.
So, I agree with almost everything Council Conti said, with the exception of, we don't have to have an outside firm come in and tell us. We did it 2 years ago. We, many of us on this council, advocated pretty strongly through our budget message that we wanted the city solicitor to be a full-time employee of the city of Attleboro, and that's exactly what former Mayor Dumas did. And in fact, Attorney Mangiarotti at that time, prior to him leaving the city, was getting to the point where he needed to ask for additional services to support that full-time position. So, and the mayor sat before us during one of the his initial budget meeting or a meeting. I recall Mayor Haro saying that he was happy with the level of service that he gets and felt like the city would be more than one person to do everything that happens, and there isn't any school expense in this. School isn't included in here, so this is a lot of money, but we get a lot of service from the firm, and there's a lot of expertise in that firm that we could never afford to duplicate. And I feel like we learned that lesson in bringing Bob on board and sort of going through that, and him getting to the point where he needed to even himself seek the help of the firm because it was just too much in the wheelhouse for the city solicitor. So I'm always looking for opportunity to save money in this line item, and I use the city solicitor often, being the new city council president, and maybe that's part of the reason. I don't know historically if this is higher or lower, but I'm happy to say, I do use her, and I get what I would consider exceptional service from her and from the firm. So, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead. Vice
Thank
President
you,
Baker.
Councilor Holmes. So it's interesting, as President Cooper was speaking, I was like, yep. Yeah, like my head was shaking clear off, because this number that we're looking at here is very similar to the number that came in at the end of Mr. Mandarati's term with us, because and I think that with all of the new administration, not just the actual administration, but the department heads and citywide, we're going to have to lean on Lauren a little bit more than we have previously. And it was, he's 100% correct. It was an exercise to see how this pans out. And my recollection is it's in the same wheelhouse. It's within a couple $1,000s. So I think that Lauren does a great job for us and is always pleasant. So that's nice too. Not that Mr. Mangiarotti wasn't. He was very pleasant, Mr. Mangiarotti. But I think that with all of the resources that we need for the variety of things that we do here in the city, I think keeping it would be my position at this stage that it would be to keep it with a firm.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's important at this point to keep it with the firm. I don't want to keep going around, but what I would ask, and is probably actually through Sarah, who's not here, but for her to continue with the meetings. I know we've had, I think it was last term, we had an executive session where we were able to discuss some of this. I think that if we're going to achieve part of what Councilor Conti was looking to achieve, which I think, again, as President Cooper said, he was right on, but we need to have more transparency and clarity and line of sight into exactly what's going on, where the money's being spent on. So I'll make that suggestion to Councilor Reynolds, but I think it ties into where we're at this point.
Great,
Thank you.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That concludes my business tonight.
Also,
Yes.
I think you forgot one motion. Did you vote Tyler and Parika
Yes.
Yes.
together?
No,
No.
separately.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Parika was done earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's okay. Let's see here.
Adjourn.
Call for adjournment at 7:30.
Aye.
Second, or who's second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I have adjourned at 7:30. Thank you so much, everyone.
So, Councilor Blair so graciously allowed me to step out because I do have a guest tonight also.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Were you done?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'd like to call the Ordinance, Elections, and Legislative Matters Committee to order at 7:30. Okay, council members that are here are myself, Councilor Holmes, Councilor Jackson. I have one motion to bring up tonight. I'll say the motion and then I'll bring my guests so we can have a discussion. and then we'll go from there. So from the supplemental docket of June 5th, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to waive local application fees associated with the permitting process and construction of a small off-street parking area on a municipal property located off Beagle Club Road.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Jackson. So we did all receive a memo from Mr. Erasian in regards to this. And basically what you're doing here is the city's paying itself a fee. So that's what we're trying to waive, is we're not taking any money from, I mean, there's no need for the city to pay itself a fee. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, unless, I'm going to open it up. Anybody have any questions? Okay, that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. And Councilor Blair gave me a vote too, which is great, so that's good. All right, so the next thing that we're going to talk about, if you drop down to, and I'll just read it, I'm not going to do a motion, but we are going to talk about this, that all commercial and industrial classification accounts in the city with personal property assessments lower than 10,000, I get what you're saying now, shall be exempt from personal property taxation. Said exemption shall be a local adoption under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 59, taxation under Section 18, exemption under Section 5.
Second. Well, no, you're not doing it as a
Nope,
motion.
not doing it as a
Don't do it as a
motion.
motion.
Okay, so,
Thank you, I withdraw my second.
I will, thank you. So I would like Mr. Nasowitz, good, to come up and speak to us about this. I know we've had this discussion before. I think we went to 7,000 once
7,500.
before, but I'll leave it to Stan to bring this up.
Like always, passing the presentation out before.
Thank you.
Okay?
We can do,
What we're going to show you tonight is the request, or what's gone on. We've gone to 7,000 for a personal property in the past. We took baby steps, so 2,000, 7,000, and now as far as we can go with Mass General Law is up to 10,000. And that's what's in front of you tonight. What Julie, Councilor Hall, has asked me to do tonight is give you an idea of, if you were to go to 10,000, how much in personal property would you be exempting? What would it mean for the, let's call it the recap, and for the collections? How has our collections gone over the years, and how many accounts would we be exempting? So let's start with the very first page. The very first page shows you that, and it's bracketed in 4,000, because 7 to 10 would be 4,000 maximum that you can do. Total amount of money that we would exempt would be $509,000. All right, $509,000 in personal property assessment. Total tax dollars you'll see in a later page is all of a little over $10,000. Yeah, but the nuisance that this makes on the city and the collection is an albatross. If you go to the second page, that $10,000, and it's not to say that the assessing office does not, as Mr. Conti will know, as an assessor, we still have to monitor those accounts should they go over 10,000, but we will not be issuing bills if they're under 10,000. Total number of accounts, that is 60 accounts. That's all. That's quite a bit of accounts and quite a bit of following around and checking on, yet issuing 60 different tax bills 4 times a year for all of a little over $10,000. So that's what the second page shows you. And now, going along with what Councilor Hall, just to give you a preview, which is acceptable under Mass General Law, I've showed you all the names and the listings of those accounts that we would be exempting. That's the third page. The fourth page shows you the totals, shows you the 60 accounts, shows you the $10,300. Then what Councilor Hall has asked me to do again is give you an idea. The total number of accounts at this present time is 431. Total value in personal property is $132 million. Total tax dollars is $2,674,000. And then, of course, what does it mean as far as collection? Will this be damaging the city? Theoretically, no. If you look at what we have had to abate from accounts that were uncollectible at the very end in different fiscal years is in 15, which was the first year that we went to 7,000, we abated $9,852 of uncollectible. Yet we were sending those bills out over and over again. Then in 2016, $13,000 that was abated. And then in 2017, it was 2,956. Now, I can tell you that the majority of these accounts that are on here, I shouldn't say the majority, now at about 25 or 30% of these 60 accounts are going to be uncollectible. There are some in there, if you look at those numbers, that's why I gave you the numbers. The accounts that have the very low numbers in the 3,000 range, anything over 10,000, like 10,0030, those are accounts that have come on since 2001. All right, when I came on as assessor, I started a new numbering system so you could keep track of what was coming on in each year. Now, if you go down through this, it gives you an idea of how many accounts have come and gone. If you look at 10,000 and we're in the 20,000 range, we have taken on and off these small personal property accounts numerous times. Every year we add these small accounts and then take them off the following year because they're either uncollectible or so forth. But there are some accounts on there, when you look at the 3,000, like 640, that account has been in existence for years. Anything that's in those small numbers has been, so I look at it twofold. These are personal property accounts in the city that have been lifetime residents. Some have been paying, some have not. We have to go after them. But it's also giving a benefit to the smaller companies and personal property accounts that are starting up. So that's one way to look at it. It's a really expensive proposition to go out and try to collect these. And it's also a big nuisance to these small businesses that are starting up to get this with no knowledge of what this personal property is all about. The big counts, if you go back into the spreadsheets, the big accounts that we're keeping on, and I only stopped it at like $104,000. It goes much higher. You can see there's numerous counts, 1s, 2, up in the high end. Those are the major companies that pay all the personal property. That $2 million that you see sitting there, that's things like Bay State Gas, National Grid, let's say any of the plazas that might have major buildings in there, some of the shopping stores. Those are the major accounts. They're not under 10,000. All right, and if you did look, if we were able to even go further looking at this chart, which we cannot under Mass General Law, you would see it would almost be warranted to take out 10 to 14,000, because there you got 57 other accounts that, not to say we still won't have uncollectibles in that range, but after you get up to, when you get into the 18 and 20,000 range, they're paying. So with that said, it's really saves a lot of work, saves a lot of time in mailing of bills, a lot of frustration, and are we really taking any money out of the levy? Not really. What we're actually doing over time is we're reducing the way the levy grows, because you put it in there, you don't collect it, someone else pays that when it transfers over to the residents. So you're twofold. You're doing something that's beneficial to the residents, and you're doing something that's beneficial to the small businesses. Okay?
Councilor Parika.
Thank you. It was last year, 2 years ago?
Years ago.
About 2 years
We
ago.
made this change initially, and I pushed for the 10, for all of the reasons that you mentioned tonight. So I will very much be in support of this on the full council when you read it out as a motion. My only question is that in the motion, should the language, instead of saying assessments lower than 10,000, should it say 10,000 and under, or $9,999, or?
No, it should say 10,000. Well, we actually, if you look at the last part of the presentation, there's a a letter that's signed every year, the say that goes up. The most important thing that needs to also be said in that motion, and that's why Councilor Hall and I have talked, that go back and look at the one when we passed the 7,000. You want to reference the fiscal year in which this is taking place, and if you don't reference the fiscal year because of where we are after January 1st, it will then go into 2020. So you want to reference
2019.
that it's fiscal year 2019 when you pass it. Now, the thing that you will know is that we're bridging the files this week. So these accounts will not be extracted because we got to get the tax bills out. We're moving it over. I mean, I was almost going to run the risk of extracting them when I do it, but in anticipation that they would be pulled, save some of the nuisance, but I don't have really the authority to do that.
All set, Councilor Parika?
I am,
Thank you. Councilor Conti?
So, I'm glad that we're finally getting to this, and the timing is terrible for you. But I just wanted to add that just one new account in growth could completely overshadow what we're talking about here in dollars. A single company moving in on Route 1 that has a lot of personal property and a retail outlet could easily bring in $10,300 of new tax growth. So I don't want the taxpayers watching this episode to think that the city council is willingly throwing away $10,000 worth of tax dollars. That's not the case at all. The reality is that the economy of scale in Attleboro is such that this just makes it more efficient. And the differences between, I have to add this because of my role as an assessor in Taunton, the differences between Taunton and Attleboro are remarkable. I mean, 4 miles apart. To illustrate that, Stanley, last year, I had $750,000 in growth tax dollars in personal property alone in Taunton. You see, the differences are enormous. Attleboro just isn't, its tax composition just isn't in personal property. So this is exactly what I was hoping that we would be able to do 2 years ago, and I hope the committee will bring it out to the full council so that we can vote on it. I heartily endorse it because I know it's going to make your department a lot easier to run, and it's also, I think, a very nice gesture for small companies just starting out to give them a little hand up at a very little impact. And that concludes my comments.
Councilor Cooper?
Thank you. So,
President Cooper, excuse me, sir.
no problem. I just want to make sure that we say the right thing in the motion, because the last page of your thing, Stanley, says, accepted section 114 of the general laws of chapter 59. But the motion says, general law, chapter 59, taxation under section 18, exemption under section 5. What do we want it to say?
We did accept that. You originally, when we did it, that's the section that we accepted,
Accept that.
the way back when we accepted that, under the, let's call it, I don't want to call it the charter, way back, that we accepted those. You know how we accept different
Yep.
charters?
Yep.
Now referring to what gives us the authority is 59.5.
Okay.
All right? What you have to fill in there is that it's basically saying that we did accept that, and then you fill in those sections that it's going to be 10,000, but the important part is the reference in your motion. That's why I say go back and look at the one that we did for 7,000, how you put the language in there for effective for fiscal year 2019.
Okay. So
All right.
you want it for
And if
fiscal
it
19.
does, I mean, Councilor Hall, I did say to her that if there's an issue with the actual writing, I will help her with that writing.
Okay. So did you, I wasn't here for the beginning, did you vote it? You haven't voted anything?
No motion.
Okay, good, thank you.
This is just discussion.
Perfect, thank you.
Councilor Felicio?
Thank you. Stan, thanks for coming down as always. I do appreciate the packets. I think it's really what we need, and it's a good illustration of where we need to go. When we voted this 2 years ago, it was one of those that I regret not going for the 10,000. So I'm glad to see this back in front of us. Julie, thank you for bringing it out. I think it is the right thing. I think it's the right thing at the right time for us. As Councilor Conti said, probably not the best timing for you, but I think that it really does. I think it sends the right message to the business owner that, we are here to help you. So I'll be gladly supporting this, Council Hall. Thank you.
All set? Thank you. President Cooper.
Just a follow-up question. What's the plan to vote it out before July 1?
Okay. Since we're having the discussion now, I could also ask for an early committee meeting prior to the, and then vote it out on the same night. So,
Okay.
and we're getting some good feedback. It sounds like people want to do this. I'll have to get the amendment language to be able to, ask for the amendment on the floor while we do the vote. So that's the plan. That's amenable.
Can I,
Certainly.
excuse me
Yep, nope,
for
certainly.
interrupting. You do not have to vote it out by July 1 now. As long as you vote it out before the actual tax bill comes out and you reference that it's effective for fiscal year 2000. You have to vote it out under Mass General Law by October 1st, because that's the actual recap date that we follow. So it's just to help you, not to put the emphasis, you know what I'm trying to say? As long as you put in that language, fiscal year 2019, and do that vote before October 1st, everything's copacetic.
Okay, then I think we're fine. Anyone else? I do also want to thank you. I was one of the folks that, when I first came on board, I was appreciative of everybody going to 7,000, because I think there were some concerns, and the way you presented this, sometimes it takes me a couple of times to see this stuff, because it is kind of excellent.
Thank you.
And so, and listing all of these accounts and so forth, you did just what I asked you to do, and I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
And it helped me, the light bulbs went on, so I really do appreciate that. I also do want to make the point, and correct me if I am wrong here, that you did say that even though we would raise this bar, if these particular accounts did go over $10,000, you still then, so in other words, they only get exempt as long as they stay below that number. Is that correct?
Right, that's correct.
And that's an important distinction to make. I really do appreciate that, so.
And to give you an idea of what we do, because now we have to monitor those accounts. We're required by Mass General Law to do a full, let's call it a tape and measure of all personal properties every certification year, not and in off years and maintenance years, but in certification years. So what we're doing now, since we created the 2,000, 5,000, we monitor all those accounts. We still send out form of list, and then in recap years, or certification years, we check every one of those accounts. So it does reduce our load somewhat, but it makes the monitoring a little more of a, as Councilor Conti would tell you, it's a little bit more of an albatross for the assessors, but on the collection end, it's a lot smoother. You're not chasing non-existent dollars, so let's call it that way. All right?
Very good.
And I do want to make one quick, we did have 400,000 in the city, so we didn't do bad. 100,000 versus 42,000, and we're doing all right. Thank you.
Anything else from anybody? Thank you so very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Have a great evening.
You
Thank
too. Thank you. And if anybody can remember when we did the last vote, otherwise I'll be going through books for quite some time. If anybody remembers when we did the $7,000, around what time frame, I really appreciate that.
I can find that.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. I don't mind looking, I just like a ballpark. Okay, so, just want to give a little bit of an update, real quick, on the hawkers and peddlers, just so you know where that's at. For somebody who has not, it was more sort of a computer savvy error, not error, but concern on my part. What happened is when you have these docs and they come through, when I printed them out, all of this wonderful corrections stuff didn't show up, so you saw things that almost looked the same, so I apologize for that. So I did give this to everybody so that you can compare the two. It's easier to compare the two with the, different colors on it. So if anybody needs one of these, I'm happy to do that again for you. And in addition to that, Mr. Withers, the clerk, and Chief Hegney are taking a look at it to see if there's any input that they would like to give into it before it goes out for the final. So it is being, and that was a remiss on my part, to have it staffed around to them to take a look at that before. I wanted to make sure that happened before I read it out to everybody. So we haven't read anything out, so there's opportunity to do all of that. And I haven't heard from either of them, but I did hear from Chief Hegney that the new ordinance is a lot more to where he thinks it needs to be in terms of what the police can support and what they can't support. So I did get that feedback. I'll get feedback from both of them before we do that. That's where theirs at. I also have something else on my docket in reference to, excuse me, let me just go back here real quick. The first one that you see there, from the docket from May 15th, just want to tell you what's going on with that. So there's a recommendation from a constituent, and I also did talk to our building inspector, Bill McDonough, who gave me his version of what he would like to see, which I think is going to be a little bit easier to implement, because he has a direct figure that he came up with, and it would be a penalty. So what we're trying to do is to try to make it a little bit more difficult to, I guess that's the word, for people to do this if they, if people are to do this. So what happened, let me just back up and try to tell you. So what happened was, apparently before any kind of demolition gets done on any kind of a building, just to be safe and make sure that some of our important
Utilities.
thing, in the city, preservation type items, before that happens, they allow the Preservation Society to go take a look at that. So there's something in our ordinance that actually said it has to go through the Preservation Society, they have to look at it and so forth before some demolition is done. And, a couple of times, or I guess it's happened, or even once, I guess it's too much if you have a really nice building, that this gets done. So what happens is you can only go up, and the only thing that Bill can do is do 3 times the amount of the fee, which comes out to about $90, which really isn't a big, deterrent. So anyways, I just wanted to tell you where that's at. I'll be presenting that. I just need to talk with the constituent to see which way she wants to go on that, because I think the one we see right now requires sort of a solicitor's view. Is that correct, Mr. Cooper? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's where we're at. So you'll see some language coming out on that real soon, too. That is, you may.
Yes, so I care a lot about historical buildings, and so if somebody just knocks down a building and then they just write a check for $90 at the same time, it's not enough to kind of get them to say, well, maybe I should take the necessary steps. So it would be good for us to have something in place. I think it was a carriage house that someone had knocked down, and so.
Yes, and I have a whole document on that, but, so I will make a motion. What I want to do is make a motion, a single motion, as opposed to, let's do this or let's do this, so.
Thank you.
I've got to work that out.
Thank you.
Yes, President Cooper.
So this one in particular annoys me because they knew what the process was and they did it anyway. So this one is particularly frustrating. It is the demolition delay ordinance, and we do have to do something to make, to enforce the fact that it gives them the opportunity to review it and sign off. And we've been able to get some pretty nice artifacts. Things from the Tappan House, for example, come to mind, and other things around the city before things were demolished. So, I'm happy to see this happening, but that one in particular on Peck Street was pretty disappointing that they knew it. So that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, thanks. So it's not the process, we do have a process to protect, it's just the penalty that goes along. If you don't follow the process, is maybe not as significant. So I appreciate that. We'll have a motion on that the next time around, and we'll have more discussion. That concludes the business of
Did you
the.
do the Beagle Club
Oops,
Road
I'm
thing?
sorry.
I'm sorry, did you do Beagle Club Road?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great, thank you.
Yes, yes.
I was out in the other
That's
room,
okay.
sorry about that.
It's okay. So that does now conclude the business of the Ordinance, Elections, and Legislative Matters Committee. I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 7:54.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned, 7:54 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to be reporting for Personnel and Human Service Committee. Ms. Reynolds has some
City property
problems at home.
Point of order, sorry, you said personnel, city property and claims.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
City property.
On the side.
Do you need it?
This is another last minute.
I have it. Do you need it?
I thought I would have it here. Maybe I do. very efficient administrative assistant wrote me a nice note, and I failed to read it. Sorry about that. Reporting for city property and claims. Sarah this evening has some problems at home, couldn't make it. And I'm going to read the items, and I'm hoping we vote them out of committee tonight. If there's any questions or problems next week, Sarah comes in and presents them. I'm sure she'll have the answers for you. But I did not do any research on these, so it would be unfair of me to comment too much. From the docket of June 9th, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor in accordance with section 1-12 of the revised ordinance of the city of Attleboro to accept the donation of $15 in Stop and Shop gift certificates from Ed Stanton to the Veterans Department.
Second.
Second. Pretty self-explanatory. I will comment on that one. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. From the docket of June 19, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $7,400 from account 1000-35900, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 1210100-524011, police maintenance of building, regarding the need for funds to replace the air conditioning unit in a computer server room at the police station.
Second.
Another one is quite self-explanatory. If you don't cool that room, we'll lose the computer. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of mayor in accordance with section 1-12 of the revised ordinance of the city of Attleboro to accept a donation of furniture with an estimated value of $4,100 from Cardi's Furniture to Hill Roberts to be used in the teacher's room.
Second.
Another self-explanatory, and thanks Cardi for a donation like that. I'm sure the teachers down there will appreciate it. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of mayor to declare the following public works equipment as surplus and available for disposition: a Dell computer, HP LaserJet 6L printer, a ViewSonic computer monitor, E-Machine keyboard, E-Machine's computer mouse.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
didn't-
okay.
Gotta learn
I
to
know,
speak up.
I know.
Pretend I'm your husband. Just yell a little. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to declare the following police department as surplus and available for disposition. These are all firearms, and there's a Smith & Wesson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 MP-15T Smith & Wesson revolver pistols, 2 Colts, 1 Glock, and a Smith & Wesson 6904 9mm, and a True Flight 37mm for disposition.
Second.
Second. I believe, and I only believe this because I thought it was in my committee at one time, these are being sold to a gun dealer that will resell them, I believe. And if this is the same thing, it greatly reduced the cost of the new weapons that we got. Because there is a tremendous market for used firearms. They're not applicable to the police department because of the wear and tear on them, but to the aftermarket, it's a desirable equipment. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion passes. From the supplemental docket of June 12, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor in accordance with Section 1-12 revised ordinance of the City of Attleboro to accept a donation of $5,000 from the youth soccer to fund a portion of Phase 2 of the Hilda B. Stone Upper Soccer Field renovation project.
Second.
Self-explanatory, but this is a great organization, and $5,000 to donate, to the city for repairing that field is kudos to them, and a great donation. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of mayor in accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinance of the City of Attleboro to accept the donation of $500 in Stop and Shop gift certificates from the Disabled Veterans, American Veterans Chapter 91 of Attleboro.
Second.
Another great donation. That money goes to people who really need it, so, and thank them for their remembering their fellow veterans. Any comments? Questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the supplemental docket of June 5th, 2018, I entertain a motion to request the mayor to declare the following police vehicles as surplus for trade-in or resale value and available for disposition. 2011 Crown Victoria, 80,829 miles, poor condition. A 2011 Ford Crown Vic, 87,214 miles, poor condition. That's it. I was looking
Second.
for another page.
Second.
Second. Self-explanatory. We either trade them in or sell them out, whichever brings the most money back into that account. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much for that end of it, and I will do
We
my,
are adjourned.
move to adjourn.
Second.
Glad I got you here tonight, Kate. We are adjourned at 8:03. I was a little tongue-tied after that. Reporting for public safety and emergency management. From the supplemental docket of June 5th, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $5,000 from account 1124100-578300, citywide reserve fund for transfer to account 1210100-524011, police maintenance of building, regarding the need for funds to make repairs to the police department, mechanics repair garage due to damage suffered during the March 2018 windstorm.
Second.
I do believe this wasn't covered by any of our insurance. It must have been under our deductible, less than the deductible. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of mayor to appropriate $30,000 from account 1220100-511000 fire salary to account 11002205855075. General fund continuing appropriation, fire sprinkler fire alarm system, regarding the need for funds to make significant repairs to the fire sprinkler system and the fire alarm system at the Union Street Fire Headquarters.
Second.
It's self-explanatory, but it's an awful shame that we have a fire at the fire department and the sprinklers didn't work.
Or the fire alarm.
Or a fire alarm, right? I think this was discovered in the routine maintenance when they were checking out all buildings, including our own. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. No other business for public safety, emergency management tonight? Move for an adjournment at 8:05.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. I haven't been able to talk that much in a long time.
I'd like to call Public Works Committee to order 8:05. I have a few items this evening. From the docket of June 19th, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $5,000 from account 1420100-511000, Public Works Salary, to account 1420100-521020, Public Works Lights and Power, regarding the need for additional funds to pay the electric bills for the remainder of fiscal year 2018.
Second.
Thank you. I have two motions that are almost identical. This is clearly just to finish paying off our bills for the remainder of the year. I think we've all gotten a few of those in our committees, just to end up before July 1st. We've got to get everything cleared up, but I do have a memo here from Superintendent Mike Tyler that said the salary line will end the fiscal year with excessive funds due to open positions that were not filled on a timely basis. So that's why he's taking that money from there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $5,000 from account 1420100-511000, Public Works Salary, to account 1420100-521010, Public Works Heating, regarding the need for additional funds to pay the heating bills for the remainder of fiscal year 2018.
Second.
Thank you. Same comments as before. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $4,640.90 from account 6000-359000 Wastewater Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account 6000-553150 Wastewater Enterprise Fund water meter supplies regarding the residential meter replacement program and the shared meter expense between the city's water and wastewater enterprise departments.
Second.
Thank you. Originally, when this particular disbursement was done, all of the money actually went into the water department instead of being split 50-50. So we're just trying to balance it all out. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion is approved. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $5,126 from account 1630100-511000 Recreation Salary and Wages regarding the need for funds to purchase four turf tires and rims for Kubota tractor, a steel demo saw model TS 500, and 3 Red Max backpack blowers to the following: $2,460 to account 1630100-548040 Recreation Equipment Supplies, $2,666 to account 1630100-543020 Recreation Hand Tools.
Second.
Thank you. So our Director of Recreation, Dennis Walsh, has seen significant savings in his salary and wages account because he's hired new employees, but they've been hired at a lower rate. So he had a significant amount of money left over in his salary account, knew he needed this equipment, the Kubota turf tires and rims for the Kubota tractor. I love my husband's Kubota tractor. Gave him a heck of a hard time when he wanted to buy it. But it's the best thing. And this is going to allow them to fertilize and aerate the facilities with the tractor. And the purchase of the steel demo saw is to quick cut infields and fence lines. And the purchase of the backpack blowers is to assist in the care of the facilities. Who doesn't love a backpack blower? I love mine. Yeah, it's the best thing ever. All those in favor?
Just hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
Excuse
okay.
me.
So I enjoy the thoroughness of this communication. I think you might recall that I asked for detailed information from
you did.
another department because it was like we're just buying some
It's
stuff.
around the same amount of
Yeah,
money, too.
around the same, exactly. I couldn't appreciate Dennis's attention to detail with regards to this, because I know exactly what we're buying, and I feel really good about this, and I'm happy to support it. How's that?
Thank you ever so kindly. And he thanks you too.
Right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $21,043 from account 6100-553130 Water Enterprise Fund Treatment Chemicals to account 6100-587054 Water Enterprise Fund Boiler Replacement Repair regarding the needs for funds for the replacement of the boiler at the Wading River Treatment Facility before the next heating season.
Second.
Thank you. So, in my communication, this boiler has been on our radar for quite some time, and they were having a very difficult time with them this last heating season. And this is where they store all the chemicals. And it would be horrific if we didn't have the heating system up and running, and if it were to shut down, because then we'd have to shut down everything, because all the chemicals would crystallize. So it would be a very, very difficult thing to be, for the city to be in. It'd almost be a hazard, I think, actually. Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. From the supplemental docket of June 5th, 2018, I can't believe we're still talking about this one. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $9,515.24 from account 112410000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 142010000-524 42440 Public Works Maintenance of Equipment regarding the needs for funds to replace the gutter broom on the 2005 E-Line sweeper.
Second.
Thank you. We've talked about this one a lot. This is now the sweeper. We had, I think it was last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago in the committee, we finally voted out the other part for this, so hopefully it'll keep it up and running for our whole season, even into next year, maybe the year after. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $16,000 from account 6000-553130 Wastewater Enterprise Fund Chemicals to account 6000-515075 Wastewater Enterprise Fund Earned Time Payment regarding needs of funds due to the anticipated retirement of an employee before the end of the fiscal year.
Second.
Thank you. This motion speaks for itself. Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I have no further business this evening for the Public Works Committee. Thank you ever so much. I ask for an adjournment, please.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. We are adjourned at 8:13.
I'd like to call the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee to order at 8:13. Sitting on this committee are Councilor Dolan as the Vice Chair and Councilor Hall. I have 4 motions to bring before you this evening. From the docket of June 19th, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $45,000 from account 1220100-511000 fire salary to account 1220100-587034 fire SUV regarding the replacement of a command car with a new four-wheel drive SUV with required accessories.
Second.
Thank you, councilors. There was a memo from the chief that said that they had put in the budget last year for 4 civilian dispatchers that were fully funded for the fiscal year 2018, but the positions did not get filled because of a delay in the dispatcher software. So they will not be coming on board until June of 2018, which of course is the next fiscal year budget. So they have approximately $80,000 left over in their salary line to be able to replace the command car. He further explained in his memo, which I'll go over just for the benefit of the public, that the existing car is to be replaced, and the plan is to replace all command cars every 5 or 6 years, so that by replacing one command vehicle each year, the department can be assured that they'll be able to respond on time. So with this plan, the department has the following vehicles in service. They have Car 1, which is the chief's car. It's a 2012 Ford Explorer with 67,000 miles. That's obviously the candidate to be replaced. Car 2 is the assistant chief car. It's a 2017 Ford Explorer with 10,500 miles. The Battalion 1 shift commander is a 2013 Ford Explorer with 50,000 miles. And the Command 1 fire alarm superintendent's car is a 2017 Ford Explorer, 9,000 miles. EMS 1, which is for the EMS chief, is a 2017 Ford Explorer with 6,000 miles, and the Fire Prevention 1, which is the Fire Prevention's chief, is a 2010 antique Ford Crown Vic with 105,000 miles. And we saw that when we were touring the fire station. So the motion is in order. Is there any discussion? Yes.
Can you just, at the beginning, something about dispatchers? What
Yep.
about dispatchers?
The chief had budgeted for 4 civilian dispatch positions for the entire fiscal year 2018, and they were never hired because there was a glitch in getting the civilian software delivered. So those dispatches will not start until June 2018, which is the 2019 fiscal year budget. So as a result, he has $80,000 left over in his salary line for those 4 civilian dispatchers that did not get used.
So I'm a little confused, because we've never had civilian dispatchers. We just always have had firefighters that are the dispatchers, so
But the plan last year's
contractual?
yes, last year's plan was to bring on board 4 new dispatchers, which required new software. And getting the new software was problematic. And therefore, the civilian dispatchers were never brought on board, and the software is now just being delivered. So that he can now hire the civilian dispatchers in June of 2018 for fiscal year 19.
So we're buying new cars instead
We're
of...
buying a new car instead of returning $80,000 to the general government, which is what would happen with that salary line. But the car is not $80,000. It is 45,000 and
Just 45.
It's just 45.
$45,000. So there'll still be $35,000 returned to, unless we see another transfer coming down the line. Are you all set?
I am right now. Thank you.
Okay, Council Blair?
They're replacing the Crown Vic.
No, they're replacing the chief's car, I believe.
So what is that replacing? Is the chief's car replacing the Crown Vic now?
Their idea is to change one car every year and move everything down. So
The
that,
Crown Vic is going?
no, the Crown Vic is not going.
Well, something's gotta be going.
Yeah,
If you're
something-
replacing something.
Yes, something is going. In fact, there's 4 more cars that I did not read on the second page of the memo, but the photocopy is so horrible I can't read it anyway.
Oh, that is horrible.
Would you do me a favor and check?
Sure,
what's on next
absolutely, be
week?
happy to. Yeah, which car is going?
Yeah, which car's going and what's
one's
gonna
going,
be
yeah.
the current list?
You would think that it would be the Crown Vic with 105,000 miles,
You would think.
but that's the former mayor's car. It's actually in pretty good shape, the black one. The one that we saw at the fire department that was in really rough shape was
Was that the SUV?
the SUV with the frame was all rusted up. Remember that?
Yeah.
I just would,
Yeah, so I think
Curious.
they're getting rid of an SUV. But I'll get confirmation and
I just,
we'll have that for next week.
probably more personal than anything when it comes to automobiles.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Mr. Delesio.
Council Lucio.
Thank you. Just clarification, so you said that the 4 civilian dispatchers would be coming in June of 2018?
Starting in July 1, 2018, which is fiscal year 19.
Okay, just,
Next year's budget.
Just want to
It's
clarify
very
that.
confusing.
No, it's just, I thought you said June, so June would have been.
He is
fiscal
hiring
18,
them in June to start
But they're
in July.
starting, in pretty important clarification, so I
Yes, it
appreciate
is.
that. Thank you.
But of course, then he still has $35,000 in the account line, so he could have started them in June if he had the opportunity.
Sure.
Yep. Any other discussion? Okay, motion's in order, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. From the docket, supplemental docket number 2 of June 5th, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor in accordance with section 1-212 of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro to accept the donation of 30 light fixtures with an estimated value of $4,500 from electrical wholesalers. And yes, Council Parika, you're excused.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan.
I'm wearing a path in the rug back here today.
So we did receive a memo from the mayor, from Dennis Walsh, stating that the Bartech Center was the generous recipient of a donation from electrical wholesalers. And for the public, the reason why Council Parika just left is because her husband works for electrical wholesalers. But these are the lights that go above the courts in the Bartech Center, which are frequently struck by high basketballs, and they've been there for a very long time and are in need of repair. And Dennis was going to put it in the capital improvement plan, but electrical wholesalers stepped forward and donated the light fixtures, and as a result, Dennis did not have to go out and buy them. Electrical wholesalers is a major distributor of electrical equipment to contractors. The nearest one is located out 95 South, right on the border of Providence and Cranston. Are there any questions on the motion? It's in order, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. So now that we've accepted the fixtures, we have to, from the docket of June 5th, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $4,200 from account 16301-000-511-000 recreation salary and wages to account 16301-000-42411 recreation maintenance of buildings to replace the lighting fixtures in the Leper Russo Gymnasium at the Bartech Recreational Center.
Second.
Thank you. That was Councilor Dolan or Councilor Hall?
Yes.
No, that was yes.
I think it was
Stereo.
It was a tie second.
Yes, it's okay.
So I am telling you that this one motion just falls on the other motion, so that the $45,000 of fixtures that were donated can be installed into the gymnasium. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, motion's in order, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of May 15, 2018, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to approve the following loan order. Ordered that $500,000 is appropriated for the permitting, bidding, construction and oversight, and construction costs associated with the rehabilitation of the Dodgeville Pond Dam located in Attleboro, Mass., known as the project, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $500,000 under Section 7-1 of Charter 44 of the General Laws, or of any other enabling authority, and that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project. Any premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium applied to the payment, and the cost of issuances of such bonds or notes may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this order in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 7-1 of the General Laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a thick file on the Dodgeville Dam replacement, and to go over the short strokes, we are eligible of a $500,000 grant from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. that requires a 50% match, $500,000 bond from the city of Attleboro, to replace the Weir Dam that is in the Dodgeville Pond. And the Weir Dam is just a shelf that water flows over, and it's moving and failing. So a catastrophic wall pressure would cause a failure of the dam. A failure of the dam would drain the Dodgeville Pond rather quickly, sending carcinogenic sediment into the Narragansett Bay eventually. The project that we're discussing, this $500,000 bond, is actually phase 2 of a multi-phase project. Phase 1A was the establishment of a cofferdam, which is a corrugated steel square of steel rods driven down into the ground 6 inches below water level to prevent any catastrophic flow to hit the dam. That was emergency measure number 1A. That's been completed. We voted on that last year. This phase fixes our problem for 10 years, and it's not like kicking it down the road. There's an actual plan that during those 10 years, there will be considerable engineering and design considerations done so that within this 10-year plan, a more permanent and perhaps beneficial resolution to the problem can be established, whereby Dodgeville Pond is maintained, and in being maintained would become a recreational opportunity for kayakers and canoers to maneuver the entire pond if we were able to raise the water level about 18 inches. At this point, as those of us who saw on the tour last week, the pond is drained about 18 inches, and there is about 40% of the pond, I'm estimating, that is not navigable in a kayak because the weeds are growing and there's shallow muck there. But I appreciate those councilors that did attend the tour. We got to see sites that not everyone gets to see in the city of Attleboro, and they certainly are pretty. And that concludes, I guess, my comments on the order. Councilor Cooper.
So first, thank you for the tour that we had on Saturday. Appreciate that, and Jeremiah appreciated it as well. But we, when you see it, and I've seen it before, you certainly have an appreciation for the current condition of what is there. And I'm in full support of making this happen. I don't recall receiving a recommendation from the planning board, though. Did we get that?
Came out today.
Was it in our stuff today? I didn't get it.
And I don't think I printed it out. No, I'm mixing that up with the Pleasant Street marijuana facility. I'm sorry. We probably have not received that document.
So we can't, procedurally, we can't vote this from the full council without it. And I don't anticipate anything earth-shattering in there other than that they support it. I think we would have heard it by now. But they do have 21 days to render that. So do we want to withdraw? I mean, continue the discussion, but at the end of the discussion...
I think I'll just hold it open. Just hold it open until 2 weeks, but
But it's going to die after 45 days, so if you don't keep your tabs on it, it's going to fall off. And
refresh my memory on why we need a recommendation from the planning department for a loan order.
Because that's what the charter says. So the planning board will review the comprehensive plan, verify that the loan order is consistent with the intent and purpose of the comprehensive plan, and has 21 days from the date of the meeting to file its recommendation. Council must receive this recommendation before a final vote can be taken. 2/3 vote is required according to Mass General Law.
Well, I'll have to ask Council Hall to rescind your second.
I will rescind my second.
Thank you.
I gave that.
I will make sure to get that in order, Councilor Cooper, so that we can get this through, because time is of the essence.
Yes.
And that concludes the business that the Capital Improvement City Development has to bring before the committee members tonight. Thank you for your participation. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order, all in favor?
Aye.
I declare the Capital Improvement and City Development Committee adjourned at 8:31.
Okay, I'm going to be filling in for Councilor Cobus on the Zoning and Land Use Committee. I'll call the committee to order at 8:30. On this committee are myself, Councilor Cobus, who's not here, and Councilor Delicio. The only thing, I don't have any motions, but Councilor Cobus did ask me to have you all take a look at the new ordinance that he put out. He did take input from several different places, did update the ordinance, so he did want you to take a look at that. And so that is, any questions on that? Good. Oh, you did, okay.
I just think, I know we've all said it, but I think he's done a really good job of incorporating and just asking individuals to add to it, so.
And it's great when it's staffed around really well. Everybody gets Councilor Perita.
I know that President Cooper said something earlier about it, but are we calling for a public hearing?
Correct, thank you
like
so
that?
much, yes, and we need to call for a public hearing on it. Thank you, Councilor, Vice President Perita, thank you for reminding us. So that was one of my tasks that I needed to do. Can I call for, President Cooper, may we call for a public hearing?
Yes.
Thank you.
When? Do you have a date set?
What date is it, the next, probably not the 19th, huh?
No.
Yes.
The first meeting in July, whatever that, I
July
forget what that date
17th.
is.
Anybody got the date, the first meeting in July?
17th, that's when the other public hearings.
17th?
Yes.
Yep, July 17th.
July 17th, okay, so we will call for public hearing on July 17th. That is all the business I have. Oops, sorry.
Just need to vote before the committee and then.
Gotcha. Okay, on the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, so the vote is to hold a public hearing on July 17th on the, let's see, excuse me, this is the last item on this from the supplemental docket of November 21st, 2017. So that the city adopted ordinance governing the operation of non-medical marijuana establishments as defined under Mass General Law, Chapter 94G, Section 1. And it was referred to the planning board, that's already come back, and that we have a public hearing scheduled on July 17th. Second, somebody?
Second?
Oh, you did before, and second again.
Nope.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okey-dokey. So it's been second. No questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. That concludes the business of the Zoning and Land Use Committee, and we'll adjourn at 8:33. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 8:33. Thank you so much.
I call the Transportation and Traffic Committee to order at 8:33. Very briefly, the Traffic Study Commission is on vacation for the summer. However, I will be calling them in to discuss the Willett Elementary School reconfiguration of transportation around there, and they're very generous with their time. We did not have a quorum this past Thursday. So I'm grateful to them. I told them I'd figure out a day and we'd all get together so then I can we can have that discussion in August. A very brief update on Beagle Club Road. The Conservation Commission did vote in the affirmative with no changes for the potential for the parking lot just beyond the gate on the left-hand side. And so that's one more hurdle that we're over here. We are still waiting, or Nick Wiley and the Conservation Commission are still waiting to hear from National Heritage to see if it abides by state and federal rules and regulations. And then we can go on to the next step. And at that point, when all of that is approved, I would expect a presentation, a package from the mayor to move forward with that. And one last little thing, little self-promotion tonight. Apparently it's the Parika show tonight. Farmers Market launches on Saturday, 9 to 1, O'Connell Field. We have 45 vendors, food trucks. We'll have strawberries and lettuce and radishes and cinnamon rolls and all sorts of goodness. Come on down, see your neighbors. They're all going to be there. It's going to be a blast and a half. Come see me. Come see you guys. I know a lot of you guys have already said you're going to be there. So that concludes the business for Transportation and Traffic Committee for this evening. And I call for an adjournment at 8:35.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 8:35.
I would like to call Budget and Appropriations to order at 8:35. I have two motions tonight. First, from the supplemental docket of June 5th, number 2, I entertain a motion that in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B, the city shall establish the Sidewalk Stabilization Fund.
Second.
Thank you, Council Conti. So, as you know, City Solicitor Galvin has provided a legal opinion on the measures that need to be taken to move the sidewalk donation account fund to a sidewalk stabilization fund. The Department of Revenue is of the opinion that this type of revenue belongs in a stabilization account as opposed to a donation account. So please note that the fund number 8506 Sidewalk Stabilization Fund has been added to the general ledger account for these funds. Furthermore, while not needed for the motion to transfer the funds from the existing Sidewalk Donation Fund 2033 to the Sidewalk Stabilization Fund 8506, for your information, in that the council, as the writing of this memo on May 29th, there is $102,962.71 in that sidewalk donation fund. So we have three motions that we need to do, that we need to make tonight in order to be able to go through and move on with this. Admittedly, Mr. Rajan had reached out to me later last week to get together, and I'll meet with him this week. My schedule did not allow for us to meet up. So, Mr. Rajan, if you're watching, I'll be in touch this week, and I'll bring back any of his sentiments next week. We are up against the clock, as this needs to be voted out by, the vote must take place before July 1st. Any questions on that? I know it's kind of a lot. Yep. Council Blair?
That fund is set up from contractors
So that's part of it too, yes.
in lieu of putting sidewalks in subdivisions.
Yeah, so what'll,
Do a fund that goes, this is just for the public,
yeah,
if
so
I'm right. They go
you're
in-
right.
It goes into that fund and can be used for sidewalks around schools. Am I correct? Supposed to be used in conjunction
Anywhere.
with schools?
Anywhere. So let me, if you don't mind, so the three steps we need to take: one, create that stabilization fund. Two, we need to move the money from the donation fund to the new stabilization fund. And then from there, we need to dedicate the revenue stream so that all funds received from developers for sidewalks in the future will be placed directly into the new stabilization fund. So yes, you are spot on. Council Hall?
I just have a comment. I'm really happy to see this happen. When I was on the planning board, this was the most confusing thing to me about how that worked. I didn't like the name, so I'm glad it's going to be called a stabilization fund, because
Yeah.
I think that's exactly the way it needs to be approached. I appreciate the business and on this one, thank you.
Great, thank you. I think this is important. I think honestly, as city councilors, we will hear more about sidewalks, trash, and water than anything else. So it's good to be able to bring this down, especially where the Department of Revenue has taken the position that it belongs in a stabilization fund. I think that's really an important note to pull out on this. So any other discussion on the first piece? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Also from the supplemental docket of June 5th, 2018, number 2, I entertain a motion that in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B, that the city shall transfer all funds in the Sidewalk Donation Fund 2033 to the Sidewalk Stabilization Fund established under Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B.
Second.
Thank you. I don't have any other comments on this. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Finally, from the supplemental docket of June 5th, second communication, I entertain a motion that the city dedicate 100% of the funds hereafter received from developers for sidewalks to the Sidewalk Stabilization Fund established under Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B.
Second.
Council Conti, no other comments on this. I think I addressed them all. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, excellent. Motion passes. And I would entertain a motion to accept the fiscal 2019 budget. Let me rephrase that. I would entertain a motion to accept the fiscal 2019 municipal council budget message.
Second.
Thank you, President Cooper. So I'm going to read the budget message, and I want to thank all of you for your help in writing this. You're probably like, what are you talking about? So throughout the budget hearings, I took notes on all of the things that, or as many of the things that this council had commented that was important to them, that they wanted to put into that message. So I think I did the best I could to accommodate all that, and I want to thank Vice President Parika for all of your help on this budget message as we sat at my kitchen table on Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, and really kind of worked through and made sure that this really reflects to the best of our ability the sentiments of this council. So, that being said, on May 8th, 2018, Mayor Haro appeared before the Municipal Council to present the fiscal year 2019 budget. A compact and efficient meeting schedule was set by this committee, which helped the Municipal Council pass the budget in a record-setting 28 days. The proposed budget was highlighted by the mayor's two main priorities: no layoffs for the Attleboro Public Schools or any city department. It established the funding for the hiring of an economic development director. The Budget and Appropriations Committee wishes to thank all department heads, Director of Budget and Administration Barry Lacasse, and Mayor Haro for their testimony during the budget hearings. A very specific thank you to City Auditor Deb Gould for attending each of the budget hearings and providing her expertise as it relates to the budget process, as well as providing clarity with regard to revolving funds. Understanding that the fiscal year 2019 budget is level funded, it is prudent to recognize all of the 24 departments across the city of Attleboro for their fiscal stewardship and ability to truly do more with less. The entire Municipal Council recognizes the challenges each department will continue to face in the upcoming fiscal year and appreciate the sacrifice each department is forced to make due to the current economic landscape. Although the fiscal year 2019 budget is level funded, there are priorities the council feels need specific attention. First, the Economic Development Director. This honorable body is supportive of funding the line item for the hiring of an EDD. The council had lengthy discussions as it related to the actual costs of EDD, if the salary would be sufficient to attract qualified and experienced candidate. Additionally, this council would like to be informed when the formal job description has been completed by the personnel director. We urge the administration to be mindful of the requests of the council to implement realistic success measures and expected growth potential, which will define the success of the EDD and ultimately the city of Attleboro. Staffing levels. While the council recognizes each department is navigating through staffing challenges, the council urges the administration to prioritize the hiring of a zoo director. It would also be prudent to look at increasing staffing levels, utilizing the high rollover and availability in the zoo's revolving fund. The council remains concerned with the staffing levels of the Attleboro Public Library and the potential of losing its accreditation. The Attleboro Public Library continues to be an important resource in the community and has kept up with the changing times to provide necessary services to the community, which, without accreditation, we stand to lose resources. Due to current staffing levels at the APL, the APL has already lost $7,500 in state aid. While the zoo and library have been highlighted in this budget message, the council is also cognizant of staffing challenges which exist citywide. Overtime costs are a direct result of understaffing. Though great strides have been made citywide, it is important to manage overtime appropriately and to add to staffing when prudent and cost-effective to do so. Water superintendent. It is also important the city hires a full-time water superintendent to oversee such an integral facet of the city. It is crucial to hire the right person to be able to maintain the water services the city is accustomed to. There has not been a full-time water superintendent for the last 3 years. The city has seen 2 interim superintendents, and the council would like to see this hiring as a priority. Utility line items. The frequent departmental request for the funding transfers for the building utilities was significant in fiscal year 2018. Gas, electricity, heating, and cooling seem to have been underestimated last fiscal year. We understand the unique challenge to determine appropriate funding due to weather and rate increase variables. The council requests the analysis of all utilities in each city building and review the city's participation in the Constellation Community Aggregation Plan. It is the function of this honorable body to scrutinize transfers, spending, and most importantly, bonding requests. It has never been more important that we remain steadfast in our commitment to the residents to spend judiciously with the current and future financial well-being of our community as a paramount concern. The decisions we make today will have significant impact on the city in the future. As Attleboro continues to grow and buildings and equipment age, we're faced with an ever-lengthening capital improvement list with no realistic potential to fund all of the urgent items. This council encourages the administration to work with the capital improvements and budget administration committees to investigate appropriate funding measures to be able to do what is almost impossible: plan for the unplanned. Although this message is a response to fiscal year 2019 budget, it is also critical for the administration and the council to keep a close eye on the future when making decisions based on bonding, negotiating contracts, and funding our obligation for health benefits, and maintaining our promise to the retirees and their families.
Second.
Thank you, Council Conti. I'm going to recognize Mr. Conti as a member of my committee, and then President Cooper.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, because I wasn't able to attend your budget meetings with the department heads, and I did not vote on the budget, I do feel I can vote on the budget message, because this is the best budget message I've seen in 9 years. And I want to congratulate you on its fine content, particularly that on the capital improvement message, which I think is very important. And I supported it wholeheartedly, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you very much, Ms. Conti. President Cooper.
So I'll give the floor to Council Jackson, because really, she did have her hand up.
No, excuse me, thank you. I just had a question. I didn't think you could make any comments on anything that has to do with the budget at all, if you were withstanding from voting on it. I just thought that no comments were allowed once you weren't involved in the budget process. That's just my opinion, but I'll leave that to the council president.
So I appreciate your comments, Councilor Conti, because I'm in agreement with them, but I too feel the same way, in that you said that you publicly that you didn't review the budget, you didn't participate in the hearings, you didn't vote on the budget. You didn't give a reason why, other than that you hadn't reviewed it. So I'm sort of feeling the same way as Councilor Jackson. I appreciate your comments, because I'm in agreement.
And I will not challenge the decision of the president. Therefore, I will abstain.
So he's going to withdraw his
Which means I
second.
can't, which means I
You'll have
can't
to withdraw
second.
the second.
So I will second the motion as read, but I do have one other comment and just a slight amendment.
Sure.
Thank you for including the water superintendent, but it was really for me about the assistant superintendent. So if we could just add assistant water superintendent prior to the, as a friendly amendment, and then it is also important the city hires a full-time assistant water superintendent to oversee. That's my only comment.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Yep, Councilor Hall?
I want to echo the non-comment.
What he did
This
say?
was an exceptional budget message, exceptional. I know there was some collaboration, and I think it was, it's right on, very specific. Couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much for.
Thank you. President Cooper.
So I want to go back to that just one more time, because one thing, when we saw each other Saturday you were going to collect money for the fireworks.
Yes.
I was coming to go with Council Conti to the Dodgeville Dam. And, we said, nice job on the budget. And you said, I'm working on the budget message. And I said, please don't put it in the same format we've been looking at for the last 9 years. And this demonstrates that perfectly. And I appreciate thinking about it differently, putting it together in a different way, being short and succinct. I appreciate that. I think everyone does. So thank you for leading this budget thing. When I was at home, I said to Louis, I said, this mayor's communication should just say, Dear Jay, because I referred everything that night, almost everything, to budget appropriation. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Now, I want to thank you all. Being the chair of the budget for the first budget was certainly an experience, and I think we've had the most participation, top to bottom, that we've had from this council in my time on the council. And this message is really, it's honestly based on, and Vice President Perica saw the pages of notes I had with, all right, So-and-so asked for this, so-and-so wanted that, so-and-so wanted that, and we've, and admittedly, there are some things that we did not include here because we didn't feel it was appropriate, but I think just based on the discussions that we had, this made the most sense, so, thank you all. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? All those, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, and before I adjourn, President Cooper alluded to it, but I want to just take a second to thank the Attleboro Youth Commission, who collected at the Dunkin' Donuts in County Square on Saturday for the Attleboro fireworks, collecting a total of $193.75. So, really nice job to the AYC. It's great to see a bunch of young adults this civically involved. As I was joking with my wife, I said nothing teaches civic involvement like having a bunch of kids panhandle to strangers at Dunkin' Donuts. But no, it's great to see their involvement, and we'll be out there again this Saturday. So, and I also want to throw out a challenge from the Youth Commission to the council. They would like to challenge us to see who can raise the most. So, something to think about. But
Mark, write a check.
wow, hedging the bet there. So, but that's all I have for budget and appropriations, and would like to call for an adjournment at 8:51.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. We're adjourned at 8:51.
I'd like to call a license committee to order at 8:51. I have two motions from the docket of June 19th, 2018. I entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July 17, 2018, relative to the 2018 Class 2 auto license application from Omar Halabi of 4 Newton Street in Fairhaven, Mass, DBA Better Auto at 473 Washington Street for 4 display spaces and 10 customer parking spaces.
Second.
This is a new application. I don't know anything yet from any research that's been done, so I don't have any information, but I will have that before we bring it to the full council. Yes, Mr. Blair?
Laura, the numbers seem wrong. to
I
me.
know, and I went back on the application. It does seem odd, but
You know,
that's what he
I-
wrote on the application.
Before, it's your,
I mean, I can
it's your
double-
committee, but I just didn't, to save yourself some aggravation coming back, it seemed like the numbers should be reversed.
Agreed. Well, my next motion is reversing an odd application we had for 40 customer parking spaces and 60 display.
Yeah, well, that's the only question.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I did go back on the application and look at it, but I can double check on that.
Where it's a new application, maybe the gentleman applying was confused.
It's quite possible. I can follow up.
We'll find out too because this is just a call for the public hearing, so he'll be before us anyway, so you'll get all your information.
That's
Yeah,
right.
see? There you go.
okay.
Thanks, Kate.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
From the docket of June 5th, 2018, I entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July 17, 2018, relative to the Class 2 amended license application from New England Auto Max, 800 Washington Street, Attleboro, for 10 customer parking spaces and 100 display spaces.
Second.
Right.
I'm sorry. Any questions? Nope. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that's all the business
Just a
license. I'm sorry,
Are
go
we
ahead.
moving on the Capron Park, the zoo thing, or not on that?
These are the only two motions I have. Are you talking about the liquor license?
Yeah. I was just
No.
curious about that.
We're not.
Alrighty.
'Cause
There's
did-
plenty of time on that.
Did you want to say something?
I do. But I don't want to do to you what I ask you not to do to me, so I stopped myself and raised my hand.
I appreciate that.
The public hearing is July 17th, so we can't vote it till after that anyway.
I didn't remember us calling for a public hearing for that. That was
What are we talking about?
The Friends of Cape and Park liquor license.
Yeah, I don't have that motion before me.
It's in your committee, but we called for a public hearing on the 17th. When it was read into the record, we voted for it. It was the first thing we did, and I said, we're gonna call for a roll call vote anyway. And Council Jackson started the roll call vote that night. Only reason I know is because I watched it today for something else. So I think we're good.
Oh, okay. What, okay, I don't remember that, I don't know why. Okay, that's all the business I have for License Committee. I'd like to call for adjournment at 8:55.
Second.
So I'd like to call the special committee on council's rules and procedures to order at 8:55. Sitting on this committee are Councilor Conti and Parika. I have one piece of business, and we'll be out here at 8:56. I'd like to call for a committee meeting at 7 p.m. Tuesday, July 7th, in Municipal Chambers. The second Tuesday in July.
Is the,
Can we pick another Tuesday real quick?
I'll amend that to, I'd like to announce a call for committee meeting at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, July 17th. No, that's committee meeting night. We're meeting the third Tuesday?
yes,
Yeah.
17th and 19th are our meetings.
Oh, we're gonna meet the 3rd or the 10th?
The
do you
10th works fine
Maybe
for
the
me.
10th.
10th.
Yeah.
Got it.
10th works fine for me.
July 10th, 7 o'clock.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Make a motion to
Second.
adjourn. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. I declare the special command rules and procedures adjourned at 8:56.
Peter,
That's
Peter,
Eddie Parika's birthday. I keep
that vehicle, the fire vehicle, it's a command vehicle.
I understand.
Command cat replacement. So it says,